Where your brother?
Outside.
Go get him. Tell him I said come here.
Come on. Did you tell us to turn the games off too?
Turn all the games off.
Oh, to cut?
You gotta do something about that. Man about to be in kindergarten in a couple months. Ain't nobody gonna know what he said.
They gonna have to figure it out. Or he gonna have to figure out one of the two. Sabbath peace.
Sabbath peace.
It's another opportunity for us to hear and learn of the word of truth that's given to us by the Most High God. All honor goes to the Father through the Son, whose name is Yahushua. In him lies the only hope for salvation. We know that it is obtained by grace through faith, not of works, lest anyone should boast, and given freely as a gift to all who obey him. We understand that if you do not obey him, it is made manifest or made obvious that you do not believe. In this state, you should expect no good thing from the Most High. However, anything that you do get, whether it be a gift of tongues, a gift of prophecy, or any supernatural experience that you may have, it can and it will be used against you in the day of judgment. With that said, peace to the saints that are in the room, to the saints that couldn't make it, but no peace to the wicked. The only thing we say to them is repent that they might live. That's right, boy. All right? It's important. I've been talking to folks lately, and you know what I'm saying? It's important that y'all know. We put the number right here at the bottom. Don't be watching these YouTube videos if you can't reach out and touch somebody. You gotta be able to ask questions directly. A lot of these guys don't want to answer questions. A lot of these guys think they too big to go back and forth with people or to explain a topic to people. And that's just a sign that these people are not teachers. You know what I'm saying? They not learned enough to be teachers. Man. There's a lot of deception out there. So if you can't reach out to these people, man, stay off of YouTube, man. Leave that stuff alone. Just read the book. You'd be better off. You know what I'm saying? That said, you can reach out to us. So if you got any questions, you got any disagreements, you got any whatever you got, feel free to reach out. I appreciate you. Appreciate y'all when y'all do. Let's jump off. Where we leave off? We finished 19. Okay. So yeah, so we read through Leviticus. We read through a few things, right? We read through another set of laws for the people, right? And then over the last few weeks, we actually been talking about, you know what I'm saying? We read about the clean and unclean foods. How do we handle, you know what I'm saying, dead animals? We talked about the proper way to sacrifice, the only ways that we can kill. We talked about how if you kill a certain animal, you know what I'm saying, like the animal of a flock or the cattle, any of the animals that are prepared for sacrifice, that if you kill those animals, it would be like you killed a man, right? Because the Most High God set it up that you needed to take those animals to the temple, or to the tabernacle rather, so that, you know, the priest, it was part of our economy, right? So the priest need to get a little bit too. Remember, a lot of our sacrifices, the priest gets to eat of it. The only one they don't get to touch is the sin, trespass, and the burnt offering, right? Or no, that's not even true. They get to touch the sin offering too, right? So, you know what I'm saying? You look at it, the priest gets to touch these. They get to eat from them. So the Most High God is making sure that, one, we not out there sacrificing to these devils because we come from all these other countries and we influenced by all these other religions, right? But then at the same time, he also want to make sure that he supports the economy that he set up. So then we also read about, you know what I'm saying, the sexual laws, right? Who we can touch and who we can't touch and how we touch them, right? So we ran into that. So we kind of about to recap on some of that. Remember, there's different types of laws that we read. There's laws that give, all the laws give instruction, right? So there's laws that tell you do this or don't do this. Then there's also judgments, right? And judgments are going to tell you if you do something that I commanded you not to do, right? Or if you don't do something that I commanded you to do, this is what occurs, right? This is how it will be handled. So we have judgments in our book. So what we're about to start off here in Leviticus chapter 20 is it's going to recap a little bit about the sexual laws, right? Or the sexual instructions. And then from there, it's going to go into a little bit of the uncleanliness, but it's going to give a lot of judgments around a lot of this stuff. So let's pick it up. This is Leviticus chapter 20. Let me get verse 1. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 1. Let's see what the book say.
TJ. Yeah. Get up here. All right.
have to wash my hands.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Again, you shall say unto the children of Israel, Whosoever he be of the children of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn in Israel, that give any of his seed unto Moloch, he shall surely be put to death.
So we talked a little bit about Moloch, but we didn't break it down. So Moloch, that's a god that people worshipped at the time, right? And part of the practice was to take your kid, your baby, right, and burn your baby as a sacrifice to Moloch. So the Most High God is saying, don't ever let nobody get a baby to Moloch. Because in other words, you're saying you're killing your kids, right? He said, that's not what I do, right? You remember there was the one situation where Abraham, right, he was commanded to take his son up and sacrifice him. But you notice that when it came down to it, the Most High God stopped him. He said, don't even worry about it. I'm going to do that, right? So the Most High God can't have us sacrificing his kids. Why? That's what he is setting up to do. So if we start doing it and it's acceptable, then it messes up the plan that he has. His plan becomes defiled. So you watch what he say. Hey! If I got to yell out to y'all again, y'all got to come here and sit down. Stop making all that noise.
The people of the land shall stone him with stones. And I will set my face against that man and will cut him off from among his people, because he has given his seed unto Moloch to defile my sanctuary and to profane my holy name.
To do what now?
Profane my holy name.
So you see that's what he's looking like, man, you messing up my darn plan. You gonna have people looking at it like it's weird when I pull this thing out because y'all doing it the wrong way. Right? So he had to separate us. The Most High God, everything that the Most High God do is separated, is sanctified. So he's trying to sanctify, like, no, don't do that. Right? Keep going, watch this.
And if the people of the land do any ways hide their eyes from the man when he gives of his seed unto Moloch and kill him not, then I will set my face against that man and against his family and will cut him off, and all that go a whoring after him to commit whoredom with Moloch from among their people.
Right. So this is him basically saying that, hey, if you know somebody doing it, you better tell on them. Right? And if you don't tell on them, then I'm against you and your family. Right? So it's important that for us, it was against the law to even know about this and not report it. And not let your hand be first against the person who's doing it. Right? It makes it tight because now you under the judgment as well. And I want to mention, I'm going to try to start doing this every study, especially as we get into the new Hebrew year. Hey, baby girl, as we get into the new Hebrew year. But today is the 18th of Adar, right? So it's the last. Go give it to your mom so she can open it up for you. It's the last of the month, last month of the Hebrew year, Adar. And this is the 18th day, just after Purim. All right, we celebrated Purim earlier this month out in Texas. So we, you know what I'm saying, we got Passover coming up, and that's going to be coming up next month as well. So we'll talk more about it, but this is the 18th day of Adar. So let's continue on. Keep going.
And the soul that turns after such as have familiar spirits and after wizards to go whoring after them, I will even set my face against that soul and will cut him off from among his people.
Right, so we talked about familiar spirits a little bit. That's people that raise the dead. How you talking to your dead grandpa or your dead grandma and all that out of their death. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, the Most High God, he said, you know what I'm saying, he don't, you know what I'm saying, you don't go to counsel to the dead, you know what I'm saying, for the living. That don't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? You go to the Most High God. Keep going.
Sanctify yourselves therefore and be ye holy, for I am Yahuwah your God. And you shall keep my statutes and do them. I am Yahuwah which sanctify you. Mm-hmm. Everyone that curses his father or his mother shall surely be put to death.
So you see, that's a judgment, right? So far, he's given us judgments. If you sacrifice your kid to Moloch, you're going to be put to death. If you don't tell on people's sacrifices, this and such is going to happen. He said, now here, you know what I'm saying, if you go after these mediums and these magicians and these familiar spirits, you know what I'm saying, you're going to be cut off. You're going to be put to death, right? Keep going.
For everyone that curses his father or his mother shall surely be put to death.
Mm-hmm.
he has cursed his father or his mother, his blood shall be upon him.
When they say blood shall be upon him, what does that mean?
Guilty.
You guilty of your own blood. Why does that reference make sense? Why are we using that reference? I just want, I just want us to understand the reference, right? Why does that reference make sense? Blood be upon him.
Because that's what happened to Messiah.
Well, yeah, that too. But if we look at it just practically,
It's like committing a murder.
you commit a murder, right? So let's say I murder somebody. The evidence that I murdered somebody might be that that person's blood is on me, right? I might kill him and then run. And everybody trying to find out who killed this man. Then they find me with my t-shirt with a blood stain on it. They look like that's so-and-so blood. You killed him. Right? Just like now when they do the detective work and somebody commit a murder, they looking for DNA, man. Like, your DNA is right here. Oh, no, you killed him. Right? So he's saying the person that's guilty is the one that got the blood on him. Right? You got the other person's blood on him. So now when he's saying you're guilty of your own self, he's saying your own blood is on you, right? Like, you killed yourself is what he's trying to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you got your own blood on you, and your blood ain't on nobody else. You got your own blood on you. So he said his own blood is upon him is what he's talking about. Keep going. Watch this.
And the man that commits adultery with another man's wife, even he that committed adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death.
He said both of them got to be put to death. That's law. Right? That's law. We're going to get into that later when we get to the New Testament. But you can see that that's law. Our law says both have to be put to death if you commit adultery. All right? Keep going.
And the man that lies with his father's wife has uncovered his father's nakedness. Both of them shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them.
So remember, we talked about this last time when we were going through all of the laws about, you know what I'm saying, what the sexual sins were. And we talked about it. We said there were no judgments there. So now we're about to go through a lot of them again, and now there's judgments placed there. He's going to tell you, like, no, this is what's going to happen to the people. Right? Keep going.
And if a man lie with his daughter-in-law, both of them shall surely be put to death. They have brought confusion. Their blood shall be upon them. If a man also lie with mankind as he lies with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death.
That's right. That's that homosexual gay stuff. That thing you put to death against our book. Right?
You said it again. Say it again for the children.
Yeah, all that gay stuff, you know what I'm saying? That's against our book. That's against our law.
Put to death.
All right? Most High God would have had us put to death in our land. Right? That would have been against our book. Now, these people's laws are different here. They do all types of stuff. They, you know what I'm saying? They allow all types of stuff to go. I mean, they allowed us to be enslaved for years. Our book wouldn't have allowed that stuff either. So we can't look at their laws and look like it's just. Although that's what they try to tell us. You know, when I start going to, you know what I'm saying, the community college, I always tell a story of how, you know what I'm saying, they came to me and it's like the first class I took, that was immediately the topic. You know what I'm saying? How it's okay to be a different gender and it's okay to do this and it's okay to be homosexual and it's okay. And I'm looking like, whoa. It can be okay to y'all, but is y'all trying to justify it and make this seem like it's normal or it's natural or it's just as natural as anything else? And to me, that's the part that offends me. I don't care nothing about what these people say, what they do. You want to be whatever you want to be, you do it. Just leave me alone and don't have no expectations on me, right? You can't pop up and want to be something different than what you are, right? And then pop up and hold everybody else and say, you know what? You got to respect what I want. Why y'all ain't got to respect what I darn want? You know what I'm talking about? I've been black for years. You know what I'm saying? When you know what I'm saying? Y'all can't even respect me enough to treat me. You know what I'm saying? The way you say you're supposed to treat me. I ain't asking you for nothing other than what you say that you're going to do. See, that's the thing. We don't ask for no special treatment. We ain't looking for nothing. We just asking you, just treat me the way you said you were going to treat everybody.
Yeah. Separate but equal and free for everybody. And you know what I'm saying?
That's all we looking for.
40 acres and a mule.
These other people, they asking for new stuff, right? When we were slaves, we asked, can we be married like y'all be married? Or can we marry the white woman? Right? Y'all say, can we, that same law, can it apply to us? We ain't asking you to change the law. We ask you to apply the law that you already got to us. Stop changing it against us. Y'all changed the law against us.
You know, interracial marriage wasn't legal till like the late 60s?
Yeah.
Bro, that's crazy. I ain't know that.
I was like, dang, that ain't even that long ago.
No, a lot of this stuff ain't changed until the late 60s.
I was like, that's crazy.
Right? But we look at it and we like, no, your law recognized marriage, and you changed the law to make it so that we can't marry. Right? It's a difference with this homosexual, this trans, and all this stuff. What they're doing is they say, hey, there's a law for marriage. No. Make a new one and make us fit into that. Marriage is already defined. Where we get marriage from?
Adam and Eve.
They got the marriage from the book. So now what you're doing is you're saying, redefine it so that I can fit in there. Because I want to be seen as, why you can't have something else? Because ours is defined already. Right? What we got come from our book, it's defined already. And these people got it. I don't stand by nothing America do. But these people tried to pull their stuff from our book. So that's the basis of their definition. So now what you asking them to do is change the basis of their definition. That's not the same to me. Right? And that's the way what people gotta do, and it's to all the homosexuals and gay people and trans and all these, you know what I'm saying, all the LGBTQRARP, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it be, you know what I'm saying? Whatever y'all are, you know what I'm saying, as y'all watch, y'all got to be proud of who you are. Even if who you are is going to send you to hell. You know what I'm talking about? Like, you got to stand up and be like, no, I'm different. And I'm rebelling against the system. And I'm gay. And no, it's not natural. But this is what I want to do. Because now you can get a little further with that. You just being honest. A lot of the reason, and I'm serious about that, a lot of the reason that a lot of these kids, like, you could be a happy sinner. You know what I'm saying? Don't let nobody believe that you can't be a sinner and be happy. A lot of people try to make you think like, oh, you're gonna have a miserable life as a sinner. That's not true. You can be a happy sinner. The problem that people have is they try to fit in both worlds. They try to deny that they sinners and try to make themselves believe that what they're doing is A-OK. Now, really deep down, they know it's not A-OK. So now you got two opposing thoughts sitting in your head, and that is what drives people crazy. That's what drives people to depression, because if you have two opposing thoughts, guess what? You can't accept reality. And when you can't accept reality, you hide yourself from reality. And when you hide yourself from reality, you end up developing unrealistic expectations. And when expectations are not met, guess what that causes? Disappointment, sadness, depression. So you do that, and people do that constantly. They feel depressed, so they create, I don't want to deal with the depression. I don't want to deal with reality. And in doing that, the only way to not deal with reality is to create something unreal. And inadvertently, when you create this unreal world, or when you create this thought that ignores the real world, you're creating expectations at that point, even if you don't know it. Your brain is setting up expectations. And then what's going to happen is the real world is going to hit you again, and you're going to see it doesn't fit into the stuff that you've been imagining, and then now you're disappointed and sad again. And that's just a cycle that people go on because they never address the reality. They never address what's right in front of them. They never address what the real problems are. And sometimes you got to address it, even if it's accepting that I'm a sinner. I'm wrong. I be messed up. But guess what? That's what I want to do. You want to be gay? You want to do the trans thing and do all this weirdo stuff? Stand in it. But don't be trying to make everybody else make you feel like, you know what I'm saying, you natural and all that to make you feel better about yourself. No, stand in how you feel. You feel rebellious. You want to go against the system. You don't want to fit into the social norms. You don't want to fit into tradition. You think the tradition is bad. You think it's corrupt. Say that then. But don't try to change the system to make it fit you. Create your own system. Same thing these Christians do with the book. Same thing these people do with it. They create these whole other religions and try to make it seem like it fit into the book. Just create your own stuff. You ain't got to sit here and fake the funk. Because I'm not going to stand for it. None of that stuff makes sense to me. And Most High God didn't give me a clear understanding of the world. So y'all can't talk to me anytime. You're not just going to walk up to me and be like, no, gender is a social construct. You pooping in the toilet is a social construct too. Does that mean I got the right to say don't do it no more? It's stupid. Everything is a social. What's not a social construct? Right? So you have to make sure that people understand that straight up and down there's logic that the Most High God set up. You don't have to fit into their logic. You have your choice to go to hell if you want to, right? But that nevertheless, the logic has to stand because people have to know this is the way. They have to know that there's a way to go. You know what I'm saying? People, they try to, what Satan is trying to do is confuse people and make it seem like all the ways are right. No matter how you look at it is right. Right? And we don't, that's not something that we can stand for, right? We got to separate it. Let people do what they want to do, stay out of people's business, but at the same time, make sure that thing's straight up and down, right? I ain't about to sit here and play with y'all. Keep going. Let's see what the book says. But going right to hell. And you ain't going to hell just for being gay. You're going to hell for having sex with somebody you ain't supposed to be having sex with before you married, too. You're going to hell for lying and cussing, too. Right? You're going to hell. I don't want to sit here and focus, make it seem like there's a whole lot of people going to hell before the gay person. Gay person might get in there. You might be last on the darn hell line. You stand in the hell line, the gay person way at the back. Looking like, what's going on up there? You know what I'm saying? You got the liar and the darn cheater, the first one jumping in there. When they the ones running their mouth. You got these Christians running their mouth against gay people. Whole time they call themselves listen, you a denomination. I'm a Christian. Hold the book real quick. Let's go to Galatians chapter. Because people need to know what they going to hell for. Everybody be thinking, oh, if I eat some pork, I'm going to hell. Shut your darn mouth. You ain't never read it in the book. You ain't never read it in the book. You can't even tell me in the law where it say you're going to be stoned for eating pork. You can't show me nothing in the book that's going to happen to you for eating pork. Other than the man saying you're going to be an abomination. What that mean? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it didn't mean anything. I'm saying where's the judgment for it? Based off of law, based off of book, show it to me. Can't show it to me. You don't show it. I know what y'all going to show me. You try to take me to Isaiah, show me, a couple of references to swine. Also, it's references to idol worship. We're going to get right past that, huh? You know what I'm saying? We're going to ignore the idol worship. People ain't getting judged for idol worship, huh? They just getting judged for the swine. Shut your darn mouth. You ain't listening to these people. I don't know what's wrong with these people. It's Galatians. Let me see. It's Galatians chapter 5. What I want, 19? This is Galatians chapter 5, verse 19. Watch the book say.
Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these.
These are the works of the flesh. It's going to send you to hell right here. Watch this.
Adultery.
You going to, look, adultery first in the line. You going to hell for adultery. I don't know why y'all running your mouth about these gay people. Soon as you get to cheating on your wife get to cheating on you, you divorce your wife, you move on to somebody else and she's still living and you cheat, you know what I'm saying? You try to remarry and mess with somebody else, guess what? All that's adultery. I hate that it's that way. But if you marry once and you move it, me personally, I hate that we fall into this situation. I hate that we've been duped and not been taught this stuff early enough that we don't take the first marriage serious. I hate it this way. I hate it. But these are the facts. This is what the book is telling us. This is not me making it up. That's adultery. Right? Keep going. Watch this. You first in line to go to hell. Fornication, you next in line. You ain't married. You out here just sleeping with women, sleeping with men, being a whoremonger. Guess what? You going right to darn hell. You second in line to go to hell. Watch this. Uncleanness. Keep going. A lot of people try to tell you uncleanness. See, that's what they talking about. You eat pork. That's where they get that. Shut your darn mouth. Look up the word. Uncleanness talking about sexual sin. Keep going. Watch this. Lasciviousness. That means, you know what I'm saying? You trying to get people to lust over you. You know what I'm saying? To have sexual thoughts over you. You know what I'm saying? You actively out there trying to do too much. That's right. All right. You got a boo? Go let your mom change your butt. Right? That's going to send you to hell too. Keep going. Watch this. Idolatry. That's going to send you right to hell. You got crosses and fish. Look, a Christian can't talk to a homosexual with a darn cross hanging from his neck. Holding the cross. Look, a Christian holding the cross up to the homosexual like he a darn vampire. Right? Talking about, oh, that's a sin. Got a cross on his neck. Talking about the homosexual having a sin. You're going to hell before him. Or before her. Got a darn cross on your neck, you bowing down. You know what I'm saying? These people set up candles and all these darn idols and pictures of Jesus in the corner, these Catholics, and they start bowing down and praying to it. You going right to darn hell. You going right to darn hell. What's wrong with these people? I got to stay here and be peaceful and try to act like everybody right. Man, no, y'all wrong. Y'all wrong, and the Hebrew is just as wrong if you telling people you're going to hell for eating pork. Because you ain't going to tell them they're going to hell. You're not going to tell them they're going to hell for not being circumcised. Some of them will, though. I respect the ones that say, you know what, whole law, you got to keep it. You're wrong too, but at least that makes sense. At least I can see how you got there. The ones I don't respect, I can't understand how a person look at it and be like, well, see, no, this law still in play, but this law not. Man, stop that stuff, man. You playing around with stuff. You know what I'm saying? You playing around with stuff. Whole law is still in place. But the whole law ain't got nothing to do with you going to hell. There's not one law. There's not one judgment that we going to read in the law. We still reading through it. We're never going to read anything in the law that tells you that you're going to hell for doing this. And when I say hell, let me be specific. You're going to the lake of fire to burn for eternity. There's nothing in the law that condemns you to that.
It's not even in the Old Covenant.
Not at all. That only comes from Yahushua. So when we talk about the judgment, the law can only put you to what? Death. That's the most the law can tell you, is you're going to be put to death.
That's it.
Yahushua does what for us?
He said, I will put you to death, but I'm going to bring you back.
He's raising people from the dead. That's my baby. Right? He's raising people from the dead. So now if the law puts you to death and he raises you from the dead, what effect does the law have on you? So now the only question is, when he raises you from the dead, what is he going to do with you?
He's going to put you in the kingdom or throw you in there.
Man, give me John chapter 5. Because we have to keep, I've been teaching this stuff for years and don't nobody keep up. I got to keep having the same conversations over and over and over again. And you know what? Guess what? That's safe for us. People think they understand this law. They don't know the basics of the darn law. Law can't send nobody to the darn lake of fire. That's crazy. It's only one man that'll send you there. You can do whatever you want against the law, as long as you don't break the man's commandments.
That's why the man was like, there's one greater than Moses right here.
What you talking about?
What you mean?
The man. What do you think Moses was talking about?
What you said?
Give me John chapter 5. It's John chapter 5. What I want? Verse 19 or something like that? 20 something, 22, 25 maybe?
The son can do nothing of himself, but what the father sees he do, that's 19.
That's 19.
Father loves the son.
Yeah, drop down a little further than that, because he's going to be talking about, you know what I'm saying, what he's going to do. It's right there, though, but he's going to be talking about what he is going to do, and what he's going to do is raise us up. And he said he's going to raise people up to, you know what I'm saying, he's going to break it down for us. What 25 say?
The hour is coming, and now is when the dead shall hear the voice of the Son of God.
That's the one I want. This is John chapter 5, verse 25. Watch the book say. This is John chapter 5, verse 20. Watch what the book say.
For the Father loves the Son and shows him all things that himself does. And he will show him greater works than these, that you may marvel. For as the Father raises up the dead and quickeneth them, even so the Son quickeneth whom he will.
When he say quickeneth, what does that mean?
Make alive.
Quickeneth means make alive. So he said, just as the Father makes people alive, the Son can make people alive also. Moses can't do that. The law cannot do that. What does the law do? It will kill anybody who doesn't keep it. Who has kept the law completely? That's it. So every single person, with the exception of Yahushua, is put to death according to the law. There's no exception to that other than Yahushua. So if you put that in your brain, the law already touched everybody. Okay, hold we got. See, we wasn't even supposed to be doing this. This is John chapter 3. Give me John chapter 3, verse 16. We coming back to John chapter 5 too. It's John chapter 3, verse 16. Because my thing is, Yahushua already told us that he's been telling us this in plain language. The problem is that we've been having all this darn voodoo in our head from all these different Christian leaders and Hebrew leaders and all these different teachers that teach stuff all out of whack. They don't know the book. They never sat down and tried to learn the book, or it's been passed down to them from sources who don't know the book and never sat down and learned the book. And they trust those sources. We can't trust people no more. We have to look at it and prove it out with the book. If it can't be proven in the book, you know what I'm going to tell you? Let me think about that. Let me research that a little bit. But when you say that, you actually got to do it. A lot of people just say that because they don't want to deal with the truth. They don't want to deal with any adversity. You do it. You say, hey, I got to research that. I got to look into it. Now, you actually got to look into it and follow up. Be like, yo, I looked into it, and this is what I think. Looked into it, and hey, you know, you was right, whatever it might be. Don't be doing that stuff just to get out of a, you know what I'm saying, get out of a little, you know what I'm saying, disagreement. This is John chapter 3, verse 16. For God so loved the world.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life.
That's why he loved, you know what I'm saying? That's why he brought him. He brought him to give people everlasting life. What does the law give us?
Death.
The law gives us judgment of death. Period. Right? Even for the law, even for the judgments that don't require death, right? Let's say like stealing, all right? That's the easiest one, right? Stealing, it doesn't necessarily require death. Stealing, you just got to repay, add a fifth to it, you know what I'm saying, in most cases, right? So that's one thing. That don't require death, but guess what? There's another law to say, hey, if you don't continue in all these things, then you are cursed. What does curse mean?
Marked for death.
Dedicated to death, marked for death. So there's no way around it. No matter how you look at it, the law is about death. Whether you do a law, whether you break a law that specifically, you know what I'm saying, has a judgment of death or not.
Yeah, it's like these laws, right? God said, okay, this is my law. Got to keep it all if you want to be clean. Right? Can't be next to God if you want clean. God kills uncleanness. It's like a Lysol wipe, you know what I'm saying? 99.99% of germs, you know what I'm saying? So it's like that moment you get that stain on you, you cannot get to God whatsoever. Yahshua had to come to remove those stains. It's just how it is.
But yeah, so it's that for sure. He had to come to remove those things. But the mechanism for removing those things is exactly what the brother just said. You have to kill it. There's no other way. Like, you can't just remove it and be like, okay, everything good, you as is, let me just touch you and everything good. No, you have to die. Right? The germ has to die.
That's why Moses couldn't see God. He was like, nah, you ain't see me.
Yeah.
You end up seeing me.
Mess around, you did.
I gotta kill you. Yeah. You can't be around uncleanness. Our bodies are corruptible, like Paul was saying. We have to put on something incorruptible. As you go on and on and on and on.
Keep going. Watch this.
For God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved.
So he didn't send him to condemn the world. He sent him to save. We know what the law was sent to do. The law does what? We reading it right now. The law, we read one promise that the law has, right, related to life. What was it?
If you continue, he who does these things shall live by them.
If you do them, you will live by them. Right? That's the law. That's a promise of the law that has to do with life. But then it also tells you, if you don't continue in every last one of them, then you're cursed, which means you're marked for death. So now you have these two opposing things. And this, when we get to Deuteronomy, that's what he's going to lay in front of us. He's going to say, I set before you this day life and death. The only way to get life out of the law is to keep it all and not miss at any point.
And the best you can get from keeping the law in that day was you live long in the land. You know what I'm saying? That's the best you can get.
No, the best that you can get,
You're eventually going to die.
the best that you can get was if you keep all these things, if you live by, if you do these things, you'll live by them. That's the best one, right? Nobody gonna get that, right? So now you gotta settle for just, you know what I'm saying, just, you know what I'm saying, repent and then keep going. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'll give you some fruit. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you some good crops or something. You know what I'm saying? You be all right. You know what I'm saying? That's the best you can get there. You live long in the day.
Yeah, live long in the day. Yeah.
Right? So we look at it. That's what the law brings. The law is the one that brings condemnation. A lot of people look at that and be like, man, the law is good. Yeah, the law is good. Don't misunderstand this. The only reason that the law is not bringing condemnation because it hates people and you know what I'm saying? The law is bringing condemnation because we sinners. That's it. It ain't got nothing to do with the law. The law is righteous. The law is the spiritual righteousness that the Most High God wants. right? It brings condemnation because we don't live up to that. So therefore, it condemns everything that don't measure up. Right? You put a, all right, you ever been to like a carnival? We went to this Legoland thing, you know what I'm saying, in Texas. And they got different rides that you can get on. And the kid has to be a certain height. So my daughter, you know what I'm saying, you put her on that thing and the height thing way up here. Does the height thing hate her? Does that measurement hate her? Is it trying to be aggressive towards her? Is it saying, you know what? Is it trying to treat her differently than anybody else? It's giving the same height measurement for everybody that's staying by it. This thing ain't got no opinion of any individual that stands next to it. But you either measure up or you don't. So if one day every kid that walks in there happens to be shorter than the measurement, does that change the measurement? Well, that's what the law is. It just so happens only one person measured up. Everybody else ain't. That don't mean the law is bad. The measurement is still there. The Legoland measurement, just because my daughter can't get on it, I might be mad about it. I might want my daughter to enjoy that. But guess what? That don't make it bad. The measurement is there because they know this is probably the size that you need to be safe on this ride. You don't realize it. I might not know the intricacy, but you know, there's a little gap right here. And when we tested this, we saw that a baby this size typically might fall out. You know what I'm saying? As it starts spinning around, you might just slide out the side. You know what I'm saying? During our test, we saw that might happen. So therefore, we put this in place to make sure it's safe. I could sneak on the ride, but then that's where accidents happens. Right? In the same way, that's how the law is built. The law is saying if you want to make it if you want to make it and see the Most High God, you have to measure up to this. If you want to live, you have to measure up to this. None of us measured up to it. That don't make the law bad. That don't make the law evil. That don't make the law worthless. No, quite the opposite. That gives the law all of its value because it's determining who measured up or didn't, right? And Yahushua measured up to it. So therefore, the law brought condemnation. So now when you look at Yahushua and he say he came to save lives. He came to make people alive. He came not to condemn people, right? These are all the reasons that he came. But watch this.
For God sent not his son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. He that believes on him is not condemned, but he that believes not is condemned already. You
are already condemned. If you believe on him, in other words, if you do what the man say, then you're no longer condemned. But your starting point is condemned. The whole world starts condemned by the law. That's just basic. If your teacher is not teaching you this stuff, throw them out. This is basic. You have to understand. I know this seems like complex. Oh, this is not strong meat. This is basic. This is the beginning of the gospel, right? This is the start of everything. You have to know that Yahushua came to make people alive, to raise people from the dead. So now let's go back to John chapter 5, because typically we think, oh, resurrection of the dead, that's for those that are righteous. Yeah, but there's some nuance there, right? This is John chapter 5, where we leave off, verse 21. It's John chapter 5, verse 21. Watch the book say.
For as the Father raised up the dead and quickeneth them, even so the Son quickeneth whom he will.
Mm-hmm.
For the Father judges no man, but has committed all judgment unto the Son.
Mm-hmm.
And all men.
So now, who's judging?
The Son.
You have to understand what you're dealing with. You looking like, oh, this the law of the Father, and this, that, another, Moses, you know what I'm saying? Moses, this, that, and other. Okay, great. Now, what Yahushua is telling you, he's telling you that he's the one that Moses is talking about. When we read our law, he's saying, Moses, when he tell you that there's going to be a prophet that come like unto him, he's trying to tell Yahushua saying, that's me. Okay? You believe that or you don't believe it, that's your business. But that's his claim. Yahushua's claim is that he's that guy. So now if Yahushua is right about this, he's now telling you that I'm going to be the one who judges everything, not the Father. So now, while we all pray into Yahuwah, right? And we say, oh, Father God, and all this stuff that we say, right? Yahushua is telling us, the Father is saying, no, you got to talk to him. That changes things, because if you thinking you're going to be condemned or exalted by the law, but the law is telling you to talk to the man, and the man is telling you that you're going to be condemned by him in the end. That's what judgment is. Notice what just happened. Yahushua didn't come to the world to judge anybody, right? But to the saved. But then he come back and say, oh, but when I come back, I came to the world. Hey, my reason for coming to the world, save. But when I come again, oh, now I mean business. The second time that I show up here, I'm not showing up here to save anymore. The judgment has been given to me at that point. I've earned the judgment. You have to understand the mechanisms of how this works, the mechanics of how this works. This is not something where the Most High God just made up the rules on his own. He followed the rules of his law to get Yahushua to where he is. Yahushua kept the whole law, didn't break any of it. Therefore, he can live by them. Therefore, when you kill him, he has to be resurrected in the flesh immediately. 3 days. Get your butt back up. He earned that because he kept the law. Law has to be kept, right? And then in doing that, he got the penalty of death that was never supposed to get him, because the law only gives death to those who sinned, and he didn't sin. So now he got the penalty that he didn't deserve. But guess who did deserve it?
Everybody else.
So guess what? He bought everybody by taking that penalty. By keeping the law, not offending in any place, and still taking the penalty that everyone else deserved, but he didn't deserve. Now that was a purchase. So now he owns the whole shebang. Everybody in the world, he owns it. The Most High God gave it to him. He bought that, right? Now that he bought it, we're his to deal with. We're no longer the law. That's why the book says you're not under the law. It's no longer the law to deal with you, because guess what? Once you die, the law already dealt with you. And everybody, the book says every man has to die. But then comes what? This is book. I don't understand. I just don't understand how this stuff don't click. This is the only clear way. The reason why y'all sit here gotta lie and pretend like y'all understand the book when y'all don't is because you don't understand it. Just sit down and learn. Stop trying to argue and fight. Sit and learn from a man of God who know the book. Keep reading, watch this. Everybody gotta die. The law dealt with you. Yahushua died, he shouldn't have died, because the law said he was supposed to live since he didn't offend. He bought you. So after he buys you, you're his to make a decision with. So if you don't do what the man say, just like Moses told you, that's going to be required of you. And he's telling you how he going to deal with you. Watch this.
For the Father judges no man, but has committed all judgment unto the Son. That all men should honor the Son, even as they honor the Father.
Wait a minute. Honor the Son, what?
Even as they honor the Father.
Well, no, brother. See, you got to understand. See, Jesus is just a man. Yahushua is just a man, just like anybody else. He said, honor the Father, what?
Honor the Son, even as they honor the Father.
That means the Son get the same honor as the Father. Ain't this the same Yahuwah that said, I give my honor to no man, to no one else? Y'all got to figure that out for yourself, man. At some point, you just got to believe the book. Because I believe it when he say he don't give his honor to nobody else. And I also believe when he say, you know what I'm saying? I believe when he say I and the Father are one. I also believe when he say you got to honor the Son just like you honor the Father. Or you're a sinner if you don't. Right? You're going to be a sinner if you don't. Keep going. Watch this.
He that honors not the Son honors not the Father which has sent him. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that hears my word and believes on him that sent me has everlasting life and shall not come into condemnation.
He said, if you hear my word and do what?
And believe on him that sent me has everlasting life and shall not come into condemnation.
That's how you
pass from death unto life.
That's how you get resurrected. right? But
Verily, verily, I say unto you, the hour is coming, and now is, when the dead shall hear the voice of the Son of God, and they that hear shall live. For as the Father has life in himself, so has he given the Son to have life in himself. And has given him authority to execute judgment also, because he is the Son of Man. Marvel not at this, for the hour is coming, in the which all that are in the grave shall hear his voice.
all that are in the grave shall hear his voice. Watch this.
And shall come forth, they that have done good, unto the resurrection of life.
So now he makes his determination of what's good, because he's the one who owns the whole show, right? So now if he deems what you've done as good, you come into the resurrection. Everybody hears his voice. Don't believe these people like, oh, well, you know, there's only going to be a certain few to hear his voice. No, you misunderstood the book. Everybody is going to hear his voice. Why would everybody have to hear his voice?
Everybody got to be judged.
He owns you. He don't just own the good ones. He owns the bad ones too. All of it is his. He bought it.
Vessel for honor and dishonor.
So now when he speak, everybody got to move. Nobody can. Every knee shall bow. What do you think that's about? I own you. When that man speak, man, everybody getting up. Good, bad, indifferent. Get your butt up. And you're going to do it on time. He ain't got no time to be sitting there waiting in this long line, man. What's taking him so long? He ain't answering that question. When he say everybody going to get, well, hey, I'm here. Good, bad, indifferent. Everybody jumping up. Got to come talk to the man. Right? Watch this. Keep going.
And shall come forth that they that have done good unto resurrection of life, and that has done evil unto the resurrection of damnation.
The resurrection of damnation. So understand that's the difference of the judgment. Right? We can talk about the law. The law is good, man. Law is the law. That's what it is. It teaches us righteousness. It teaches us great principles. It teaches us how to take care of our physical bodies mostly. Right? And it lays the foundation for you, what Yahushua is teaching. Don't take this and say that Yahushua is teaching something contrary to the law, because he's not. Right? What Yahushua commands us and what he's teaching, the basis of it comes from the law. It's all law. Right? Nevertheless, whatever Yahushua say, that's what's required. So when we try to get to it and we try to understand what's required, that is the basis. What did Yahushua say? Because those are the requirements. And that's law. Right? So you get two routes you can go: damnation, or you can get eternal life, right? And that's going to be based off of what Yahushua says is good. How do we determine what Yahushua says is good? Well, you look at Yahushua's words. He tells you what defiles a man. And then from there, you send the people you listen to the people that Yahushua sent, the apostles, which means the ones sent by him, sent in his stead. That means they are representatives of him. That means that he's not there, but when you see them, it's as good as seeing him, right? So when they tell you these are the things, let's go back. This is Galatians chapter 5. And we should have just kept reading in John chapter 5 where it tells you, you know what I'm saying? You don't know what you're talking about because you would have listened to Moses. You know what I'm talking about? That you wasn't listening to Moses. This is Galatians chapter 5. Where we leave off? 20. Let's keep on going through these sins. Because now we know that the Apostle Paul is telling us this. The Apostle Paul was sent by Yahushua in his stead. So he's a representative of Yahushua. And he's telling us about all the sins. Keep going. We're not going to see nothing about pork. We're not going to see nothing about, you know what I'm saying, a lot of this stuff that we look at. Keep going. Watch this.
Idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies.
Heresies. Guess what that means?
Denomination.
Denominations. That's the same thing as the Christian denominations, setting up separate little factions to separate yourself. Right? Keep going. Watch this.
Envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like.
And such like.
Of the which I tell you before,
I
have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God.
If you don't inherit the kingdom of God, guess what that means for you?
You're going to hell.
There's no middle ground. There's no like the Catholic, the purgatory, where you just kind of sitting in a holding cell until the Most High God want to look at you again. You know what I'm saying? Like, that stuff is made up. Ain't none of that stuff. You either make it, you either measure up, or you don't. That's it. You have to measure up or you don't. And now the judge, Yahushua, is the one that gets to determine whether you measure up or not. And he's telling you, if you do those things, you will not measure up. He's making it very clear for you. If you do any of these things, you will not measure up. So now the question is, okay, well, I've done some of those things in my past. Does that mean I'm done forever? Well, no, Most High God got a good system with Yahushua, right? He say, basically, if you still breathing and you turn from that stuff, he'll forget it ever happened. Wipe clean. But you got to live the rest of your life that way, right? So now the next question is, well, I repented 2 years ago, but then I start sinning again. Well, the book would say that you never repented. You're a liar. Now, that might offend you. That might make you feel like, no, I was serious when I repented. I just went through some tough time. I know. Trust me, though. Admit that you're a liar. It's in your best interest. Because if you never repented, right? This book, we ain't got to get it right now, but this book, the book tell you, if a man, we got to get it. It's 1 John chapter 6. Because I just want people to understand. I want people to know it's in the book. Because as we read through Leviticus, it gives us what we need to understand the law. We end up understanding the law through the New Testament. That's what happens to people. You know what I'm saying? Because we're introduced to Christianity, which gets rid of the Old Testament. But most of us were introduced to Christianity. That's how we learned it. So it's difficult for us. We think of things in heaven and hell, judgment day and all that, right? So then we go retroactively and we fit that into the law. And we make the assumption that, when the law is talking about stoning you, that also means that you're going to the hellfire. That's not what the law is saying. So we have to separate those two ideas. So that's why I want to put this out right now. Then we can go back to Leviticus and we can start reading through these judgments. Right? Keep going. Watch this. This is 1 John chapter 3. 1 John chapter 3. Give me verse 6. 1 John chapter 3, verse 6. And it's not the only place. You can get 1 John chapter 2, 1, all that. You can read through all of 1 John. They're going to tell you a liar if you still sinning.
Whosoever abides in him sins not.
If you abide in him, if you remain in Yahushua, right? If you live in Yahushua, then you don't sin. That's what it just said. Then watch this.
Whosoever sins has not seen him, neither known him.
If you sin, you didn't see him and you don't know him, right? Now, you might look at that and be like, no, I had this experience and God really touched my soul and then I repented, but then the devil came and he snatched me away again. And I went back into this lifestyle. But I'll tell you what, I never forgot God. God was always there with me the whole time. What the book is telling you, I know what you feel and I know what you think and I know what you experience. I get it. I'm with you. But the book is telling you that you never seen the man and you never knew him. Now, I know that may feel offensive to you, but believe me, that is mercy. Because what he's saying is, if you knew me, you wouldn't have sinned again. And in another place in Hebrews, he tells you he can't be crucified again. Right? So anybody who willfully sins, there remains no more sacrifice for that person. Right? After being enlightened, if you willfully sin, there's no more sacrifice. So now if you read that, you'd be like, oh, I'm done. But if you read this, you'd be like, oh, I never knew the man. Which one do you want? You sinned, you repented, sinned again, there's no more sacrifice. You definitely going to hell. Ain't no coming back from that. You done. You don't have a chance. You done. You want that one? Or do you want, I thought I repented, then I sinned, and oops, book is saying I never knew the man. If you never knew him, that means you was never enlightened. That means there still remains a sacrifice. Let me tell you what you better do. You better look at that and be like, I believe, thank the Lord. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know you. Yeah, I thought I did. Let's try this.
I don't know that.
Let's get us another shot. Because listen, no matter what you do, the book is telling you what's going to happen at the end if you're a sinner. He's going to say, depart from me. I never knew him. We have to stop letting our feelings and our thoughts override what God is telling us. The book is saying, I don't care how I feel. I don't care if tingles came down my darn spine and I saw this vision and the vision was Yahushua himself. And after that, I treated my wife better and I did better at my job and I was a righteous man for several months and all. None of that matters if I start sinning again. You have to erase all the past and be like, no, I was lying this whole time. All that was fake. All that was a lie. It was deception. It had me feeling good, but it wasn't it. It wasn't the real thing. I need to get the real thing. As of this day forward, I'm never sinning again. This is again. And if you mess up and you sin again, guess what? I was lying again. I lied twice about this repentance thing. This time, no. This the real deal. And you keep doing it until it's the real deal. But you have to acknowledge all that time is wasted time. And all that time you was a sinner. And all that time, had the Most High God wanted to take you, you would have been in hell. You have to admit that to yourself. Otherwise, there remains no more sacrifice for you. So that means the only thing that keep you from the sacrifice is pride. Not being able to admit that you was wrong the whole time. Right? All right, let's go back. This is Galatians. Try to finish. Oh, no, we already finished Galatians, right? So then let's go back to Leviticus. Go back. Let's do Leviticus chapter 21. We ain't going to finish 20 out. But y'all should read 20 because you're going to see all the judgments that's related to sexual sin. It's going to dip into some of the dietary needs that we have to have, or dietary requirements that the Most High God gave us, right? And when he does that, you'll notice that he doesn't put any judgments again around the diet. He don't tell you, by eating pork, this is going to happen to you if you eat pork, other than the fact that you'll be abominable to him, right? Keep going.
And the Lord said unto Moses, speak unto the priests, the son of Aaron, and say unto them, there shall none be defiled for the dead among his people, but for his kin that is near unto him, that is, for his mother, and for his father, and for his son, and for his daughter, and for his brother.
So he said, no priest, right? The laws that we're about to read through right now are specific to the priest. So he's saying no priest can be defiled for people, except for his closest family members, right? So if you're a priest and somebody dies, you can't sit there like if it's like your second cousin and they die, you can't go to their funeral. You can't be around that dead body because that would defile a priest, right? So he's saying the only exception would be, man, if your sister died who don't got a husband, right? Or your brother died, right? Or your father or your mother, right? Somebody close to you, they die, okay. You can go and you can go attend that ceremony. You can be around that dead body if you need to be and all that good stuff, right? So that's for a priest. Now watch this.
And for his sister, a virgin that is near unto him, which has had no husband, for her may he be defiled. But he shall not defile himself, being a chief man among his people, to profane himself.
Right? So he's saying, if you're the chief priest, then you shouldn't defile yourself. It's going to get more into this. It's going to get more in depth. But for right now, let's just keep going.
They shall not make baldness upon their heads, neither shall they shave off the corners of their beard, nor make any cuttings in their flesh.
So now, context so far is what?
Don't go no near no dead body.
Context is about dead people dying, dead bodies. And then it moves on and said, don't make no cuttings in your flesh, don't shave off your beard, all that. What that's talking about is those are practices. We talked about this last week. Those are practices that people did to mourn death. So he's saying the priests are not able to do that. A lot of people take that and be like, oh, first of all, this is direct to the priest in here. But a lot of people take that and be like, oh, yeah, Israelite can't shave his beard. Can't get a line up. You know what I'm saying? No. You can't get tattooed. Now, I'm against tattoo. I tell people don't get them. But I ain't got no book to say that you can't get a tattoo. I got a book to just say, don't tattoo your dead on me. You know what I'm talking about? You tattoo your dead on me, that's a sin. That's against our law. That's a sin according to the law of Moses. All right, keep going. Watch this.
They shall be holy unto their God and not profane the name of their God. Offerings of the Lord made by fire, and the bread of their God they do offer. Therefore they shall be holy. They shall not take a wife that is a whore or profane, neither shall they take a woman put away from her husband, for he is holy unto his God.
Right? So now, if you are a priest, meaning if you are a son of Aaron, and on top of being a son of Aaron, you have been moved into the priest position, right? The only way you can be moved in there is you have to be a son of Aaron, right? So if you're a son of Aaron and you qualify to be a priest and you actually become a priest, then you cannot take any old wife. Your wife has to be a virgin, right? That's not true for the rest of the people.
What does that mean?
What? Have to be a virgin? That means she can't have sex. She couldn't have had sex before. She had to be somebody who'd never been with another man or never been with a man, right? So his wife would have had to be a virgin, right? Had to be clean, pure, right? That's not true for everybody else. Anybody else can marry a person that has already had sex before, right? There's no law against it. Book would just call her a harlot, all right? But there's no law against it. Keep going.
Thou shalt sanctify him, therefore, for he offers the bread of thy God. He shall be holy unto thee, for I, the Lord, will sanctify you am holy. The daughter of any priest, if she profane herself by playing the whore, she profanes her father, she shall be burnt with fire.
Right? So now if you have a daughter of a priest, right, she goes out and she out there just having wild sex with people, right? Or having any sex, right? If she becomes a harlot, and a harlot, remember, when we think of a harlot, we think, oh, this girl's out there, she's selling her body. That's not what the book is talking about when it say harlot. When it say harlot, it's just talking about fornication. That could be one time, right? It could be that the little girl has sex one time outside of marriage, outside of our law. She would be considered a harlot. She would be playing the whore, right? If that were to happen for a priest's daughter, then she's condemned to death. If she's not a priest's daughter, she is not condemned to death. That's not against our law in the sense, or I don't want to say it's not against our law. It's not condemned by death in our law. Right? Keep going.
And he that is the high priest among his brethren, upon whose head the anointing oil was poured, and that is consecrated to put on the garment, shall not uncover his head, nor rend his clothes. Neither shall he go into any dead body, nor defile himself for his father or for his mother.
Right? So he's saying, if you are the chief priest, if you are the high priest, you cannot defile yourself for anybody, not even your mama and daddy. That's why Aaron couldn't take his sons. All right, couldn't mourn his sons. All right? So this is the stipulation that are placed on the priests. You see that they have a little more stringent of rules because they have higher responsibility and higher benefits from the Most High God. Keep going. Watch this.
Neither shall he go out of the sanctuary, nor profane the sanctuary of his God. The crown of the anointing oil of his God is upon him. I am the Lord. And he shall take a wife in her virginity, a widow, or a divorced woman, or profane, or a harlot, these shall he not take. He shall take a virgin of his own people to wife. Neither shall he profane his seed among his people, for I, Yahuwah, do sanctify him. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto Aaron, saying, whosoever he be of thy seed in their generations that has any blemish, let him not approach to offer the bread of his God. For whatsoever man he be that has a blemish, he shall not approach. A blind man, or a lame, or he that has a flat nose, or anything superfluous, or a man that is broken-footed, or broken-handed, or cockbacked, or a dwarf, or that has a blemish in his eye, or be scurvy, or scabbed, or has his stones broken. No man that has a blemish of the seed of Aaron the priest shall come near to offer offerings of the Lord made by fire. He has a blemish. He shall not come near to offer the bread of his God.
Right? So he's saying anybody who has a physical impediment or some type of, you know what I'm saying, we would, you know what I'm saying, in the back, no, you can't use this word no more. Back in the day, we'd call them like retarded. You know what I'm saying? Like anybody who was messed up, where you had, you know what I'm saying, you got a little limp arm, or you got 6 toes, or, you know what I'm saying, your genitals didn't come out right, or whatever it is. Humpback, all that stuff, you would not be able, as a son of Aaron, to become a priest. Although you are a son of Aaron, you wouldn't be qualified to become a priest, right? Keep going though. Watch this.
He shall eat the bread of his God.
So now he still benefits from the food, right? He can still eat with his family, right? But you can't hold that office, right? Again, that's the measurement. You short. You don't live up to the measurement. You can't get on this ride. Did that mean this ride hates you? No, just the rule for the ride. It's for your own safety is how you look at the ride. But guess what? It's the same way with Yahushua. Same way with Yahuwah. Keep going.
He shall eat the bread of his God, both of the most holy and of the holy.
Mm-hmm.
Only he shall not go in under the veil, nor come nigh unto the altar, because he has a blemish.
Mm-hmm.
That he profane not my sanctuaries, for I am the Lord, do sanctify him. I, the Lord, do sanctify him. And Moses told it unto Aaron and his sons and unto the children of Israel.
Let's keep going. Chapter 22.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto Aaron and his sons.
Right, so this is another one. Remember, the last one was directed to the priest. Before that, it was kind of directed in general for chapter 18 and 19, right? Then you had chapter 17. What was chapter 17? Yeah, 17, 16, 15. 16 was directed to the priest. 15 and 14, that was the leprosy, I believe it was. Sacrifice, so that's directed to the priest. Oh, no, yeah, that was directed to the people. That was directed to the people to let them know how they had to bring the stuff to the priest. So you see, some of these are directed to the people, some of these directed to the priest. So he starts it off by letting them know, hey, talk to the sons of Aaron on this. So it's directly to the sons of Aaron again. Let's talk about it again.
Speaking to Aaron and to his sons, that they separate themselves from the holy things of the children of Israel, and that they profane not my holy name in those things which they hallow unto me.
Mm-hmm.
I am the Lord.
That's right.
Say unto them, whosoever he be of all your seed among your generations that goes unto the holy things which the children of Israel hallow unto the Lord, having his uncleanness upon him, that soul shall be cut off from my presence.
Mm-hmm.
I am the Lord. What man soever of the seed of Aaron is a leper or has a running issue, he shall not eat of the holy things until he be clean. And whosoever touches anything that is unclean by the dead, or a man whose seed goes from him, or whosoever touches any creeping thing whereby he may be made unclean, or a man of whom he may take uncleanness, whatsoever uncleanness he has, the soul which has touched any such shall be unclean until the evening, and shall not eat of the holy things unless he wash his flesh with water.
Mm-hmm.
And when the sun is down, he shall be clean, and he shall afterward eat of the holy things, because it is his food.
Mm-hmm.
That which dies of itself, or torn with beasts, he shall not eat, to defile himself therewith. I am Yahuwah.
Mm-hmm.
They shall therefore keep my ordinance, lest they bear sin for it, and die. Therefore, if they profane it, I, the Lord, do sanctify them.
Mm-hmm.
There shall no stranger eat of the holy thing. A sojourner of the priests, or a hired servant shall not eat of the holy thing.
That's right.
But if the priest buy any soul with his money, he shall eat of it. And he that is born in his house, they shall eat of his meat.
Mm-hmm.
If the priest's daughter also be married unto a stranger, she may not eat of an offering of the holy things.
She cut off because now she's under the lineage of another man, right?
But if the priest's daughter be a widow, or divorced, or have no child, and is returned unto her father's house, as in her youth, she shall eat of her father's meat.
Mm-hmm.
There shall no stranger eat thereof.
Mm-hmm.
And if a man eat of the holy thing unwittingly, then he shall put the fifth part thereof unto it, and shall give it unto the priest with the holy thing.
Right, so that means it's akin to stealing. Even if he didn't know what he was doing, he ate it. But now you got to restore that and add a fifth to it. Keep going.
And they shall not profane the holy things which the children of Israel, which they offer unto the Lord, or suffer them to bear the iniquity of the trespass when they eat their holy things. For I, the Lord, do sanctify them. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto Aaron and unto his sons and unto all the children of Israel, and say unto them, whosoever he be of the house of Israel, of the strangers in Israel, that will offer his oblation for all his vows or for his freewill offerings, which they will offer unto the Lord for a burnt offering, ye shall offer at your own will a male without blemish of the beeves, of the sheep, or of the goats. But whatsoever has a blemish, that shall you not offer, for it shall not be accepted for you.
That's right. So you can't just make it. You can't. What he basically saying is, you can't just look at it and be like, oh, this is a messed up cow here. That thing messed up, look at all marked up, his leg don't work right. You know what I'm saying? He ain't no good to me anyway, right? Or he's not the best I got anyway. He's saying, you can't take that one and try to make it look like, oh, this is my free will offering. He's like, no. You know what I'm saying? When you take it, I want you to take the best of what you got. I want you to take one of the good ones, right? And then that could be your free will offering. Keep going. Can't offer nothing with a blemish.
And whosoever offers a sacrifice of peace offerings unto the Lord to accomplish his vow, or a free will offering in leaves or sheep, it shall be perfect to be accepted. There shall be no blemish therein.
Mm-hmm.
Blind or broken or maimed or having a wind or scurvy or scab, ye shall not offer these unto the Lord, nor make an offering by fire unto them upon the altar unto the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Either a bullock or a lamb that has anything superfluous or lacking in his parts, that mayest thou offer for a free will offering, but for a vow it shall not be accepted.
Mm-hmm.
You shall not offer unto the Lord that which is bruised or crushed or broken or cut, neither shall you make any offering thereof in your land. Neither from a stranger's hand shall you offer the bread of your God of any of these, because their corruption is in them, and blemishes be in them.
Mm-hmm.
They shall not be accepted for you. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, when a bull or a sheep or a goat is brought forth, then it shall be 7 days under the dam, and from the 8th day and thenceforth it shall be accepted for an offering made by fire unto the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And whether it be a cow or a ewe, ye shall not kill it, and her young both in 1 day. And when you will offer a sacrifice of thanksgiving unto the Lord, offer it at your own will. On the same day it shall be eaten up. Ye shall leave none of it until the morrow. I am the Lord. Therefore you shall keep my commandments and do them. I am the Lord. Neither shall you profane my holy name, but I will be hallowed among the children of Israel. I am the Lord which hallowed you.
He said, I am Yahuwah which hallowed you. In other words, I am Yahuwah which sets you apart. Right? Keep going.
That brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Yahuwah.
All right? That's the book. That's the end of it?
Yeah.
So we're going to hold off because chapter 23 is going to take us through the appointed times, or what people call the feast days. Right? These are our celebrations, right? We consider them like holidays. Huh? The thing was jumping. I guess they won't hear you very clear, but it was picking you up still.
Wow. Damn.
Where were your antenna?
But I could have sworn I turned it off.
But so yeah, so we gonna be able to kind of go through that, and what we'll do is we'll introduce. This is probably the first time we talked about it in the Bible study, but the timing is right. So what we'll do is we'll introduce our the calendar that we use. We'll kind of talk a little bit about how we came up with the calendar. One thing I'll say through all my studying, I haven't found any system of the calendar, you know what I'm saying, the Hebrew calendar that I trust or that I think is absolutely right or anything like that. So we'll go over, you know what I'm saying, why we use this calendar. Is not because I think this is the true calendar and it's aligned with God's calendar and all that. That's not what it is at all. So we'll kind of talk about why we use it, how we came up with it, and then we'll go over, you know, the feast days, and we'll talk about some of the upcoming feast days that are coming up, some of the upcoming appointed times, and how they're celebrated and how we can celebrate them today. But before we get into all that, any questions?
No.
All right, well, let's pray out.